50% of men and women will not or do not look at themselves in the mirror because they do not like the person that they see. Your fear, your insecurity, your imposter syndrome, your past trauma, all that garbage, it has put a lid on what is meant for you. This is why you feel last. It begins the moment you wake up. And see, I believe that we get so focused on the big stuff that you're missing the truth about life. Never in the history of high fives have you high-fived somebody and thought, I hate you. I want you to become somebody who doesn't think about what you want to do. Because thinking about what you want will not change your life. When you push yourself to try, when you push yourself to take action, when you push yourself to do it anyway, even though you feel anxious, even though you're nervous, even though you're afraid, even though you feel like an imposter, even though you're worried, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push yourself to try. You'll be shocked by what happens. All right, what up, everybody? Oh, come on. I'm gonna redo that. Hold on. That was unacceptable. Even if you don't know who I am. All right, everybody, what are we doing? All right, that's right. Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here. Anybody listen to the Call Her Daddy interview I did? Oh, you didn't know I was on Call Her Daddy? Okay, yeah, you just don't want to admit it at a professional event, right? Okay. All right, so how many of you have no clue who I am? Oh, really? Only? Okay, it's okay. I will not be offended. It's okay. A little bit?
I just researched you on Google.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think?
Really cool.
Yeah? Yeah.
Like, boss.
Okay, so I found out that y'all were here and I said, can I get some time with you? And it's because I think that it's a really cool moment in your life to be here right now. And that there are those moments that you can look back on your life and it's almost like there's a line in the sand and there's a before that day and an after that day. And I believe that you're sitting here because at some point today, you're going to hear something that changes the trajectory of your life. And I hope that I am a catalyst for that. And so I wanted to talk to y'all because I can only imagine how challenging the last couple of years have been. And I want to teach you how to take any obstacle that you may be facing in your life or dealing with from your past. And I want to teach you how to flip it into an opportunity for growth and an opportunity to get back in touch with the power inside of you. Because I know you're also sitting here because you have huge dreams and you got a lot of shit you want to do in the world. And, oh, I know, she just sweared at a professional conference. What is happening in here? I will not do that on the big stage. And I want to teach you some simple things that you can do in order to stop listening to the noise in your head. I want to teach you some simple things you can do to heal some of the trauma that you are having in your body that impact you. I want to talk to you a little bit about mindset, about anxiety, but I want to make sure that this is relevant to the things that are going on in your life, okay? And so I can share a little bit about my background, but I know based on the fact that you probably all looked me up on Instagram and see that I have 2 million followers, that that's probably enough, right? Yeah. Proof that I got some stuff going on. But it's important for you to know that a couple things about me. I'm 53. I have 3 kids. I know, shocking. Thank you for that compliment, right? 3 kids, a daughter who's 23 who just graduated from college and has started her first job and is in that sort of like sea of, oh my God, adult life blows. And I have a 21-year-old who is a singer-songwriter and out at a music conservatory at USC, and she knows exactly what she wants, and she can visualize it, you guys. She can see herself having her songs on the radio. She is terrified to do the work, terrified to walk toward what she wants. The 23-year-old has no idea what she wants, which is causing a different kind of crisis. And then I have a 17-year-old son. It's also important for you to know, in my opinion, that I've had, when was it, we counted the number of jobs I had at one point, Jesse, was it 53? So in my life, and that's how old I am. So I've literally done everything from had a paper route to worked as a fry cook in a restaurant to a waitress to a bartender. My first job, I worked all through college. My first job out of college was as a paralegal. I hated it. I then went to law school because everybody else was doing something and I didn't know what to do. I then was a public defender in New York City. I worked for legal aid and did criminal defense work for 4 years. I then was in the technology. Like, I've just bounced around like crazy. And one of the big things I'm going to tell you is that the most important thing that you can do with your life is try as many things that you're curious about. One of the most important skills that you could have is to have the courage to put yourself out there, to try new things, to fall on your face. And it's very difficult for women to do that. Very difficult. And we can talk about why, but what I want to know first and foremost, does anybody got a particular challenge or a particular thing that you're dealing with right now that you would love to get some advice on? Oh, right here. Yes, okay. Who wants to go first?
Okay.
Yes.
Imposter syndrome.
Okay.
So currently, I'm really struggling with realizing that my hard work that I've done is mine, like my hard work, and that I do deserve the things that I'm getting, that I do deserve the awards, the recognition. So how do I deal with like falling back into that, like the hole?
Gotcha. Who can relate to this? You feel like you're not worthy of the things that you're accomplishing, or that somehow this is luck, or somebody's like giving you a break, but you didn't earn it. God, every one of you, that blows. Really. So what you're dealing with when you have imposter syndrome is you're dealing with a lack of self-worth. You literally kind of see all the things working out, but you've got this like annoying voice in your head that's saying, you don't deserve this, this is luck. How many of you have that story? This is luck, this is gonna run out, this isn't due to me. Yeah, we got to literally destroy that voice. That is from your past. And part of the reason why you have that voice, by the way, is because of racism. It's because of discrimination. It's because of childhood trauma. It's because of various experiences that you've had, where either your experiences growing up or society at large has made you feel either overtly or in a really like gross and sort of sly way like you don't belong. And so it is critical for you to start to punch that voice literally out of your head, and I'm going to give you some steps to do it, okay? The second thing that's really important is that in addition to stopping down that voice, because it's not your voice, that is somebody else's voice that your brain listened to and then started repeating. And the thing about your brain is that your brain is this really cool computer that learns patterns. And what I want you to understand is that patterns repeat unless you break and replace them. And if you have a pattern of thinking, like what Heidi has, that says, you're not worthy, you don't deserve this, luck is gonna run out, at some point, the you know what's gonna hit the fan again, brace, don't count on anything, like you didn't earn this. If you got that pattern running in your head, that is a broken pattern. You're not broken. That pattern of thinking is broken. And so the line in the sand that I want to draw starting today is you're not allowed to listen to that garbage anymore. We are going to go on a mission together to notice whenever it comes up, oh, interesting, there it is. There's that pattern. It's spinning, just like a load of laundry, right up there. And I'm going to teach you, once you recognize that pattern, you're going to use this thing that I created called the 5-second rule. You're going to count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, because that shuts that down. And counting backwards, let's all do it together. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now notice when you counted, did you feel a little pressure right here? Yeah, that was me hypnotizing you. No, I'm just kidding. What you were feeling is by counting backwards, it's a little brain hack that interrupts all the garbage that's here in the interior part of your brain. This is where imposter syndrome lives, everybody. This is where anxiety is. This is where self-doubt is. This is where self-criticism is. This is where it's all stored. When you notice, oh, there's that voice again, and you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you shut it down, and then you awaken this part of your brain. This is the part of the brain that you used when you were taking the SATs. This is the part of the brain that you used when you applied for that job, when you speak up in that meeting, when you tell somebody, no, you cannot borrow my dress tonight, no. When you have boundaries, right? This is the part of the brain that gives you immediate control over what you think and do next. And so that's a really important thing. Number one, you're going to notice it. Number two, you're going to name it. So let's give that jerk in your brain a name. So Heidi, what do you want to name this thing? Like close your eyes and think about it. And everybody close your eyes and think about like that voice, that nasty, stinky, awful, skanky, gross voice in your head. I want you to kind of get an image in your mind. It could be a cartoon character, it could be a human being, it could be like some little pimply, ugly person from middle school that you feel sorry for now, okay? Yeah, because when you laugh at the voice, it doesn't have control over you like it did, right? We want to make this less serious, so what's the name you're going to give your voice?
Well, I was thinking the voice, but maybe something like, I don't know, Rocky, Spiky.
Spiky, okay. What name do you want to give your voice, Linda?
Bob.
Bob, okay. How do you say your name?
Sedania.
Sedania.
Yes.
Great name. What are you going to give your voice?
Maybe Peabody.
Peabody. I got it. Okay. How about you? What's your voice?
Bill.
Bill. Ooh, conviction. There's a human being like that talking to you. Bill, we are going to shut Bill down, okay? What about Isabella?
Broccoli.
Broccoli?
I hate broccoli.
She hates broccoli. I love that. That's great. How about you?
Josh.
Josh. Okay, great. So whenever you hear that voice, what I'm teaching you is to use the science of objectivity to distance yourself from that voice, okay? This is so important because you are not that voice. Welcome in, everybody. Actually, pull up your chairs closer. Do not sit that far away from me. Come on. Yep, let's go. You are not late. You are right on time. Let's welcome them in. Okay, yep, louder, clap louder. Super important, everybody, in life to make people feel welcome. Super important to invite people, especially other women, to have a seat at the table. And one of the things that I've learned, and then I'm going to catch you all up on where we're at, okay? One of the things I've learned is that, you know, there's so much success to go around. Have you wrapped your brain around the fact that there are, 8 billion people on this planet? There is so much success to go around. There's so much happiness. There's a tremendous amount of money to make. There's a ton of people to date. And when you focus on the fact that there is limitless possibilities for you, you're not in competition with anybody in this room. And the louder you cheer for other people, the more you invite people in, the more you will be invited in and the more cheering there will be for you. It is incredible when you can flip your mind from being jealous and competitive and small-minded, like if she's getting that, it means I don't. Oh, no. If you see somebody getting something that you want, it's evidence that you can have it too. You're just going to get it and have it in your own way. And so you want to make it a habit to cheer for and celebrate all the women, everybody you see around you, because their success means you can have it too. And trust me, if you are a talented, hardworking, kind person, a company will make room for you. They will find another job doing that same thing. And so you focus on you. You focus on being the best you, and I promise you, all the other people around you that are having those things that you want, that's evidence you can have it too. I like to think of other people as a light on the path I'm walking down. They're shining a light that helps me walk in the direction of what I want. And I'm going to teach you how to flip one other thing. So how many of you struggle with a bit of comparison and jealousy? Yeah, all your hands should go up. That's right, because we all do, right? So you want to know a cool thing about jealousy? Jealousy is like the coolest emotion because jealousy tells you what you want. I'm not talking about envy, like, I hate her, she doesn't deserve that, da, 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 da. I'm talking about that, like, oh, I want to be doing that. Oh, I want, oh. You know, you can relate to that feeling, right? That like, oh, when's it going to be my turn? Oh, I want that thing. So here's the cool thing about jealousy. You can't be jealous of somebody unless you want the thing that they have. So it's personal. So personal. My daughter, who is a singer-songwriter, that's what she's studying. She's a junior in college. She's so jealous of anybody that's on tour. She's so jealous of people that are doing the work and putting out their music. I am not jealous about that at all. My voice is terrible. Like if I sing a hymn in church, people are like, you need to pipe down over there because you're ruining this moment for me. I am not jealous of somebody who has a penthouse in Abu Dhabi because I don't want to live there. That is not what's meant for me. Let me tell you what jealousy actually is. Jealousy is your deepest desires and dreams blocked by your fear. Jealousy is your deepest desires and dreams blocked by your fear. Your fear, your insecurity, your imposter syndrome, your past trauma, all that garbage, it has put a lid on what is meant for you. And so when you feel jealous of someone or something or some opportunity and you feel yourself putting the lid on and you feel that negative energy coming on, you need to, again, use the 5-second rule, count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take control of the moment. And then flip it and go, oh, interesting. I'm not actually jealous. I'm inspired. Like, that's my desire. That person is evidence. And here's the other thing. Y'all live in the coolest moment in time. You can literally stalk people online legally. You can learn from anybody. You know, when I was your age, if you walked into a bookstore or a library and you checked out a self-help book, whoa, that was embarrassing. Personal development is like the coolest thing in the world. You can listen to podcasts for free. You can literally research any subject on the planet, from neuroscience to launching a business to how to monetize and make money on Instagram to how to install a Shopify account and make it, like, you can research anything. You can follow anybody's footsteps, reverse engineer it, and start walking down the path. It is so cool. And so the only thing that's going to limit you in terms of you doing the work to have everything that you want in your life is your fears. Now, I'm not in the land of toxic positivity here because I know that there is a lot of realities around money and time and obligations that you have to help out family or stuff you have to deal with in terms of mental health. I totally understand that. But I want you to hear me loud and clear that you can make anything happen through your actions and your attitude. It may not take a year, it might take 10 years. But it's through action that everything changes. And so I want to go back to what we were talking about because this is super important for everybody that just walked in the room to hear. So we were talking about, Heidi had asked a question about imposter syndrome. And so I want to bring y'all into this conversation because this is critical for you to hear. It's critical for you to learn these simple tools. That as she's successful, as she's making stuff happen, she has this nagging voice in her head that's like, you don't deserve this. This is going to get taken away. You know, you're an imposter. People are going to find out. Like this nagging thing that is beating her down, even as she's trying to rise up. Can you guys relate to that? Okay, terrific. And so, well, not terrific. I don't want that voice in your head, but I'm glad that you can relate to what we're talking about. So I'm like, we got to go to war with that voice. And I want today to be a line in the sand where you will look back on today and you'll go, okay, there was a before I heard this conversation and there was an after. And so the first thing that I want you to do is I invented something called the 5-second rule, where you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a little brain trick where it interrupts all the nastiness and the patterns and old habits here that hold you back. And by the time you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you awaken this part of your brain. And you are immediately in control of what you think and do next. And one of the best uses for this thing, and you're going to hear me talk about it on the big stage, and I'm going to show you some examples of how people are using this around the world. One of the best uses is to silence the critic in your head, to interrupt that nagging voice. And one of the other things I want you to understand is that your brain is a supercomputer, and your brain loves patterns. And all those little thoughts that you have are just a pattern. And guess what? It's a pattern somebody else taught you. It's a pattern that a caregiver or a parent or a bully or society at large taught you that made you feel less than or unworthy. And it is time to kick that bully out of your freaking head. And the thing that's important about this, and this is like hand-to-hand combat with your own mind, is that if that pattern is not broken and replaced, that pattern will repeat. And for some of us, what I've started to realize in my own life is that I'm just repeating thought patterns that my great-grandmother had and my grandmother had, and then she taught them to my mother, and then my mother said them to me. And I have an opportunity to end that garbage. I have an opportunity to speak to myself differently. And so step number one is I need you to recognize that. So how many of you in the back row are tracking with what I'm saying? Give me a hand in the air so I know. Okay, great. Second thing, when you notice, oh, there's that thing again, you're going to count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is the second part of this. So we're going to notice it, we're going to count backwards to interrupt it. Now we're going to name it, okay? So I want you to close your eyes. I've already asked everybody in the room to close their eyes. Think about that nasty, awful, disgusting, oh, I hate, ugh, kind of thing. You can make it funny, you can make it gross, you could be a real person. And I want you to think of a name that we're going to call this voice. When my son was struggling with anxiety, he called anxiety Oliver. And he made Oliver look like a big old pimply 8th grader who was miserable, right? And whenever the voice would come on, he would go, all right, Oliver, you're not invited to the sleepover. I'm going to go. Oliver, I'm not taking you to school with me today. And there's a lot of science behind this because by naming it and picturing something, whether it's broccoli, somebody in the room said she hates broccoli, so the voice is broccoli, you distance yourself. This is the power of objectivity. So, right here, what's the name of your voice? What is it? Ollie? Ollie. Okay, great. Right here with the pins, cute pins, yes. Maria. Maria's the voice? Okay, Maria, get out of here. White blazer. Tomatoes. Okay, excellent. She hates tomatoes, apparently. And here's the thing. Have any of you ever had a puppy? Okay, great. Have you ever tried to train a puppy on a leash? Right, and the puppy just wanders all over the place? This is another analogy for your mind. Think about your thoughts and your mind like a puppy on a leash. The best way to get a puppy to calm down is to just step on the leash. That's what we're doing. When your mind starts to wander and tomato and broccoli and, Maria and Bob show up, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of here, Bob. That's how you're going to step on the leash. You're going to pull your thoughts right back to your own. And then you want to replace it. You want to replace it. And you can replace it in the beginning by just saying, I'm not thinking about that. You're not going to talk to me like that. Okay? Awesome. Because if you allow that voice to stay, it will just continue. And as you get more and more and more successful, you will take that voice with you. And you will never truly reach not only your potential, but you will also not have the fulfillment and happiness that you deserve. And it begins with what you're saying up here. And we all do it. You're not alone. If I were to put a speaker on everybody's head in here and turn up the volume, you wouldn't be sitting here. We'd all be on an inpatient unit somewhere because, like that, the way we talk to ourselves is really awful. Really awful. I agree, right? Yes, exactly. Okay, another question. Thank you for that. Right here.
I'm going through like a little existential crisis, I would say. I'm trying to decide between what I need and what I want.
Oh.
Earlier, like 5 minutes before I came in, I got the job opportunity that I applied for. However, the job that I have now is what I love doing, and that's why I changed my major. But the job that I was just offered and I accepted will help me pay for rent and living more than the job that I have. And it's like, I can take both jobs, so I have 2 jobs now. But it would mean that instead of working 20 hours, I'd be working 38, and I'm a full-time college student. And I don't want to burn myself out. But at the same time, I don't want to not pursue what I have now because I need to make ends meet living-wise.
Yeah. Okay, it's an excellent question. How many of you can relate to this? Yeah, the conflict between what your heart longs for versus like what is the responsible thing to do. So I'm going to give you a couple tools to think about decision making, everybody. Okay? Because sometimes you just have to do whatever you need to do to make the ends meet. Right? Sometimes that's what you have to do. But not always. Not always. I don't think we live in I don't think we live in a rigid world. I think we relate to the world like it is. And so one of the tools I use a lot is I try to switch myself from an either or mentality into an and mentality. So how could I take that job that is going to help me pay my bills and help me feel secure and help me feel like I am making all these ends meet, because there is a level of stress that you feel that is so distracting and devastating when you cannot pay your bills. And I know that stress because just 14 years ago, my husband and I were $800,000 in debt. His restaurant business had gone under. I was unemployed. We were about to lose the house. I could not pay for groceries. We had to pull our kids from that town soccer program because we couldn't afford it. And the stress was so excruciating that I literally couldn't get out of bed. In fact, that's how I invented the 5-second rule. I would lay in bed every morning and the anxiety was like a gravity blanket. And I would stare at the ceiling and my mind would just spiral. It's like I did not know to step on the leash. I did not know what to do. And so this whole 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 came during a rock bottom moment. Like I knew I needed to get out of bed. I just didn't know how. And so the counting became the how. And so what I want you to do, though, is I want you to think, is there a way to do both? Could you accept the job so that you have, or you've already accepted it, but could you accept that job and be happy about it and empowered and go back to what you're doing now and say, can I do this but only X number of hours? So that you still have a foot in something that fills your soul versus going, it can only be this or that. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So have that conversation, because then you keep a door open to something. The second thing I would do, and this is really important, everybody. So I partnered with LinkedIn, and we've launched this course all about confidence, so we can talk a little bit about confidence, what it is, what it isn't, how to build it. And the other thing that I did with them is I was the host of this big thing they called the Future of Work. And one of the things that I heard loud and clear is that the most important thing that you can invest in any job that you have is skills. So if you're going to go into a technical job, like you're going to be a chemist or you're going to be in pharma or you're going to be a doctor or you're going to be an engineer, there's a certain level of expertise that you need in order to do that job. But the vast majority of jobs, of businesses you might start, of all the things that you might do, are all about skills. Can you speak in public? Can you present your ideas? Can you write something? Can you sell somebody on an idea? Like skills, can you connect with people? Are you inspiring and uplifting with people? Skills that you can learn on any job. And so the second piece of advice I'm going to give you is this. I want you to think about what is it about the job that you have now that really fills your soul?
The opportunities it gave me, like the job I have now is how I got here with the Cauldron on the Rise, and it's opened so many doors for me.
And it feels like I can almost feel you getting emotional as you think about it.
Yeah, it's what made me change my major. I was a political science major, and then I got the programming job that I have now with SGA as a public relations officer.
Amazing.
And now I switched my major to communications with a concentration in sports business management because I love planning events and stuff.
Amazing.
And that's why, even though it's fun and it doesn't pay the bills, it doesn't, but it's fun and it makes me happy and it alleviates the stress of having to make ends meet. The other job, which is not as fun, will make ends meet.
Yep.
And the stress of not having to worry about rent every month, especially the way the housing is working.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, what do I have to do? It's like.
Well, what I'm telling you is I think you can figure out a way to do both without working that many hours. And I also think if you love the event planning and you love the communication, here's a great tip, everybody. Look for opportunities inside whatever you're doing now to do more of what you love. So every job, even if it's boring as you know what, they need help with social media marketing. They probably have some sort of something going on, whether it's an employee gathering that you can raise your hand for and help out so that you bring some of the stuff that you love into the day-to-day of what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. And here's the final thing. I believe that when you are born, you are hardwired with an inner compass. It's like your own Google Maps or Waze system. And I'm going to prove it to you, okay? So have you ever thought about the odds of you actually being born? Because here's the thing. Believe it or not, a bunch of scientists calculated the odds. What are the odds? with, I know this is kind of gross, but all the sperm that your dad has, who wants to think about that? And eggs that your mom has, and the number of times that they fooled around and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? What are the odds of that one sperm and that one egg coming together and actually creating you? 1 in 400 trillion. 1 in 400 trillion. And here's some really interesting research. We now know that it wasn't about how fast that thing swam. We know that it was the egg. The egg was choosy. And guess what? The egg chose you. Absolutely. Absolutely. You are here for a reason. And I want you to embrace that you are here for a reason. And when you are born into this world, all of that magic that makes you a miracle gets hardwired into your DNA. And it is part of the wiring in your body. And your body is a system of signals that are trying to get you to turn in the direction that's meant for you. And so you were talking about needs, right? There are signals in your body that signal your need. So, for example, you got to eat or else you're going to die. So what is the signal that you feel? What do you feel when you need food?
Hungry.
Correct. What do you feel when you need sleep?
Tired.
Yeah. What do you feel when you need connection with other human beings? Yes. What do you feel when you need some water? Exactly. Exactly. And here's something that's really interesting. Feeling stuck and feeling lost are also signals. When you feel stuck and you feel lost in your life, it means you've stopped growing. You are going to grow for your entire life. Until the day you die, your brain can learn new patterns. And so I want you to understand that your body is always trying to signal you. In fact, the gut has a new name based on all the research that's come out. It's called the second brain. This is really cool stuff. I did not know this until about a year ago. Basically, when you're formed, in utero, I don't even know when it is, but the neurotransmitters and the clump of tissue that are the brain and your digestive tract, it's the same tissue. When they separate and become your brain and your gut, it's still connected with neurotransmitters. So that gut feeling that we're talking about, it's a real thing. A real thing. And what I want all of you to understand is that your gut, your heart, it knows oftentimes before your mind is ready to accept it. You know. And the problem isn't that you don't know. The problem is that we don't listen to it. We don't listen to what our hearts and what our guts are telling us. And so you are never going to lose the accuracy in terms of what your body and what your gut is telling you. The skill to work on is trusting it. I mean, how many of you have been in a relationship where you knew it was not going to be good? You knew you should get out. Yeah, you knew you should. Mm-hmm. Your gut was telling you this is a bad idea. Right?
Can I get it?
Yeah, can you what?
Can I get it any higher?
Yes, we all have that one. Yes, exactly. And so here's the other thing. I'm going to teach you how to read it. So when you think about having to make a decision, everybody, close your eyes and you're going to tune in and you're going to ask yourself, what decision actually expands something? What feels warm to you? That's what you should choose. If the decision is going to shrink you, if it suddenly feels cold, that's something to turn away from. Now, the what is a direction. The how and when you do it, like this job, we know that you know that the what you need to do is more of the old job. You know what direction to head in. You need to walk toward those kinds of things. However, then you bring it back into the moment and you go, well, how am I going to do it? And what's the timeline that actually makes sense? And then you start to make the strategic choices, but you stay moving in the same direction. If she's able to keep a foot in this job, then she's still moving in the right direction. If she's able to take what she's learned and what she loves about that and make it part of what she's doing in this new thing, she's moving in the right direction. If she says to herself, I'm going to do this job and pay my bills for a year because I deserve to not be stressed out about this crap that I've been thinking about for so long, and then when I can, I am going to go all out and get a job doing that other thing when I graduate, she is moving in the right direction. Do you see how that works? The difference between the direction you're headed in. Come on in, do not opt out. If you're supposed to be in here, come on in. Okay? That's how you do it. There's a big difference between where you're pointed and what you want, and then the how and the when you make it happen. Super important. Okay, other questions?
It's hard to be seen in a wheelchair. Okay, my question is balancing the emotional and mental labor of starting a business or a new endeavor while also raising a child.
Oh, okay, so tell me about the business.
I am creating a board game that brings gaming and the arts together in a way that's accessible for individuals with disabilities.
I love that. Okay, great, great. As a serial entrepreneur, what I'm going to tell you is that the best thing you could possibly do if you want to launch something is you want to not put all of your financial stakes in your business. All the research shows that it's the people that launch a business while working full-time or working in a different industry that are 30% more successful than the entrepreneurs who don't. And here's why. If your rent and groceries are tied to the success of this board game, that stress is going to put crazy amounts of pressure on this business. And so you want to mitigate that and allow your business to have the space for you to be creative, to have the space for you to try things, fail, have it take longer. It's going to take 3 times, 10 times longer than you think. I hope not. But when you prepare that way, and when you take care of the stress, just like we were talking about, you set yourself up to put your best brain at it. Now, here's the other thing. The secret to doing anything, everyone, those big dreams that you have, it's not about working on it 24/7. I'm not kidding about this. The secret to everything is find 30 minutes a day. That's it, 30 minutes a day. If you were to wake up and before you look at your phone, before you do anything else, that means you got to get up earlier than the kids. It means you got to get up. It means you got to go to bed earlier. It means you got to make different choices at night so you can get your sleep and you can also wake up earlier than you feel like worrying. If you can find 30 lousy minutes in the morning, and I want you to do it in the morning, and there's a reason why. Number one, your brain is primed for the best focus and the best speed of processing and the best memory in the first 2 to 4 hours of the day. I want that time to go to you and your dreams, you and your mental health, you and your goals. That time should not go to social media. That time should not go to everybody else. That time belongs to you. And I believe, how many of you believe that your dreams are worth 30 lousy minutes every day, right? How many of you would love to feel like you're finally first in your life? The way you do that is simple but not easy. And I'm going to give you the formula. When that alarm rings, oh wait, let me step back. I'm going to give you the formula. Number one, none of you will do this. None of you. But this is the single best habit for your mental health. You ready? Do not sleep with your phone. Oh!
That's hard. That's really hard.
Yeah, because we're all addicted to it. Do not sleep with your phone. Here's what I do. I'm addicted to it. I am addicted to it. I do not have that sucker in my bedroom because I cannot be trusted.
Bedroom? Oh my God, I thought you meant like put it on the nightstand.
Oh, hell no. Oh, no. No, you cannot have it within reach. Let me show you what. Give me your phone. She's like,
But what if you really need
Oh my God.
you do not really need it. Hold on a second.
Yes, I do. I listen to my water sounds.
Well, put it on the other side of the room, then turn it off, go to bed.
But that defeats the purpose. I gotta be sleeping.
I feel like it's difficult for you though, because you're like, social media personality. And
Like,
What do you mean it's difficult for me?
it's not like,
Here's the thing, everybody. Here's the thing. You are never going to feel like doing the stuff you need to do. Ever.
Man, that makes, she connected the dots.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. You are never going to feel like doing what you need to do to have the life you want. There is no difference between you and all the people out there that have the things that you want, except for one thing. What's that?
They have it and I don't.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. They're doing the little things every day to make it happen. They are doing the things they don't feel like doing to make it happen. And I'm going to explain this because this is really hard to do. So if you've got your wave sounds, fine. But I want it at least 2 arms length away, okay? Let me tell you why. You ready? Are you ready? So if you sleep with your phone, right? You're like, oh, with my wave sounds, this is amazing. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I know you all sleep like this, right? You know? And then this is what happens. The alarm goes off, and then you go like this.
Yep.
30 minutes.
Yep, that was this morning.
Yep, your 30 minutes that are for your dreams, for your mental health, it's going right here. Now, like if you've got 5,000 people that you're friends with on Facebook, or I don't know how many accounts you follow on TikTok, you just let 5,000 people in your bedroom. If you're looking at emails from your boss, your boss just walked in your bedroom. If you are waking up stressed out, anxious, and overwhelmed, it's because of that moment right there. You just let the world jump to the front of the frickin' line of your brain. And now you're going to spend all day trying to get your focus back? I got a different way. Let's reverse this. If you are serious about wanting to feel more confident, more motivated, more empowered, you are going to claim the first 30 minutes of the day for yourself. So when that wave sound goes off, you got to turn that off and chuck the phone. It cannot be near you because you don't even realize how much you just pull it up like this. You don't realize that you are so like tied to texting friends back and checking Snapchat and looking at TikTok that you are losing the most important window of time for your mental health and for your productivity. This is why you feel last. It begins the moment you wake up. And see, I believe that we get so focused on the big stuff that you're missing the truth about life. Your life is all the little things. If you get the little things right, if you make small, and I'm talking 5-second decisions, everybody, small 5-second decisions that are a little bit more positive, a little bit more supportive, a little bit kinder, the kind of decisions that you would make for your best friend. If you make little 5-second decisions, your whole life starts to ripple in an entirely new direction. I found out the hard way that you hit bottom or you feel stuck in life or you get off the rails because you're making tiny little negative self-destructive decisions. Lying to yourself, saying it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I lay here in bed and look at social media for 30 minutes. Do you think Oprah Winfrey's doing that? I don't think so.
Someone does it for her.
Someone does it for her. Yeah. Yeah. But I'll tell you what's nice. What's nice is putting yourself first. What's nice is being more powerful than what's on that. You've got a life to build and to live instead of wasting time staring at everybody else's life on there. Half of it's fake anyway. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, rule number 1, please do not sleep with this. Get it away from you. I plug mine into the bathroom because then there's 2 things that happen. Number 1, the alarm goes off and I can't reach for it. And number 2, oh my God, the alarm's going off. And now I have to get out of bed. And there will always be things in your life that you hate doing. I personally hate getting out of bed. I hate it. I invented this 5-second thing to get out of bed. I have used it for 14 years, including this morning, to get out of bed. Just because you repeat doing something doesn't mean you're going to like it. I hate folding laundry. I hate unloading the dishwasher. I hate picking up dog poop. I still do it. And so understanding that you are not going to feel like it, but you need to push yourself anyway. Action is the answer. So I get out of bed. Now here's the next thing I do. I make my bed. Oh. Why do I make my bed? I make my bed for a couple reasons. Number one, when the anxiety is really bad, I make my bed so I don't crawl back in it. Now, I'm not talking about like military style. I'm talking like throw the comforter, do a karate chop on the pillow, we're done, okay? Now, the other reason why is because when I walk back in the room, I see something done. And it is one more of those 5-second decisions that rolls things in a positive direction. Then I go into my bathroom, and here's the next thing I do. I brush my teeth, and this is something that I want you all to start doing. And you're going to think it's the dumbest thing you've ever heard, but I'm going to ask you to try it for 5 days. I've had 161,000 people from 91 countries do this for 5 days. And not a single person in that study reported that it didn't work. It has helped people with body dysmorphia, with suicidal ideation, with depression, with trauma, with self-worth issues. It's a new habit I want you to introduce to your morning routine. You're going to put your toothbrush down and you're going to look in the mirror. Now, for half of the people in this room, you can't even do that. 50% of men and women will not or do not look at themselves in the mirror because they do not like the person that they see. And if you can't even look yourself in the eyes in the mirror, that is a habit of self-rejection. That means you are starting your day by rejecting yourself. And that's why so many of us race out into the world and seek validation from partners and friends and boyfriends and caregivers and girlfriends and bosses because we haven't even given ourselves the respect we deserve. And so I want to teach you how to bring it back home because for those of us that look in the mirror, we see the things we don't like. The gray hair, the saggy boobs, the dark circles, the wrinkles, the turkey neck. You just pick yourself apart. You don't even realize it. This is part of your morning routine. This is the part where you stand in front of the mirror and just trash yourself. We're going to change that using science. What I want you to do is you're going to look yourself in the eyes. Take a minute. That's not a reflection. That's a human being in the mirror, and she needs you. She is tired of your negativity. She is tired of Bob running in your head. She's working hard. She needs you to show up. And then you are going to raise your hand, as cheesy as it sounds, and you're going to high five the woman you see in the mirror. That's it. Do not say a word. Do not have a mantra because your brain isn't ready for it yet. I want you to turn to the person next to you. We're going to count backwards to 5, and then we're going to give each other a high five and I'll explain something. Ready? Turn to the person next to you. Yeah, don't. Everyone's like, ugh. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, great. Okay, so let me tell you what's going on here. I know we got to wrap it up. Okay, what's going on here is never in the history of high fives have you high-fived somebody and thought, I hate you. You look terrible today. If you're in a sports team and you screw up a shot and you come back to a huddle, what do you hope your coach and your teammates say to you?
Good try.
Yeah, and if they hand you a high five to send you back in the game, what does a high five say?
Good effort.
Good effort. I believe in you. Keep going. Like on and on. It is always positive. Remember how I talked about the fact that your brain is a pattern learning machine? Your brain knows the pattern of a high five. It has a lifetime of experience with them. So all the programming's here, everybody. When you stand in front of a mirror and you physically do a high five, it grabs all the neural association in your brain and it aims it at your face. Literally, it shuts down Bob, broccoli, tomato, Maria, whatever we're Karen, that we're saying the name is, shuts it down. Because you can't think something negative while you're doing this because your brain won't allow it. It's not programmed that way. It takes less than 5 days for you to be able to stare at yourself in the mirror and see a woman that you're rooting for. Your brain, every time you do it, gives you a drip of dopamine. That's why you guys laughed. It's not from the slap of the hand. It's what your brain's doing. You feel a little bit energized, don't you? That is your nervous system giving you a little jolt of energy. The 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and a high five in the mirror after you brush your teeth are 2 free science-backed tools that you can use to interrupt old patterns that are holding you back and to start to create new ones that will push you forward. Because that is where you're headed. We're not looking back. I want you to look forward. And I want you to quiet the noise, shut it down in your head, and listen to what's in your heart and in your gut, because that's what's meant for you. And all you have to do is wake up every day, and if yesterday blew, okay, it was whatever, we're gonna shake it off, we're gonna high five that off. You didn't go to the gym, no problem. You're still gonna give yourself a high five today. You didn't make that phone call you said, no problem, you still get a high five today. Because you need to send yourself into the game of life every day knowing that you have your own back, that you believe in you. And the way that you prove that is through the actions that you take. And 30 minutes a day, just for you, to focus on you, to set your day up, because how you set your day up is how it ends up. You deserve that. And that's how you claim it. And trust me, you're never going to feel like it, but I want you to do it anyway. You got it? Got it. Good. Awesome. Thank you.
Biggest advice you could give to young women in their 20s?
Okay, she just said, what's the biggest advice I could give to young women in my 20s? I'll tell you what it is. When I ask, are there any questions in the big room? Y'all better stand up and raise your hand. When I ask, okay, because here's the thing. The most important thing for women is trying. Confidence is not belief in self. Here's my definition of confidence. Confidence is the willingness to try. Because when you try, even though you're afraid if I raise my hand and ask this question, I'm going to look like an idiot, but you try, it's through the action that you start to gain competency. And when you gain competency, you feel a little bit more comfortable, so you do it again. Confidence is a willingness to try. And what I want all of you to do is to push yourself to try, because there's a really important stat. At the age of 13, boys and girls have the exact same level of confidence. Or excuse me, at the age of 12, boys and girls have the exact same level of confidence. At the age of 13, confidence for girls plummets 30%. Plummets off a cliff. You want to know why? Because we get our periods. And that's the average age. For some of us, it's younger. For some of us, it's later. But what's interesting about when we get our periods and we go through puberty is it's public. Like everybody knows your body's changing. They're talking about it. There's something sexual about it. You lose control over the conversation about yourself. Like when dudes hit puberty, they're 15, they're freshmen in high school, all of a sudden they're tall and it plays to their advantage. We fall off the cliff because of that public scrutiny. And you start to think, okay, did I get it early? Did I get it late? What's wrong with my body? I'm going to wear a big sweatshirt because I don't want to, oh, no, I'm not going to wear a big sweatshirt. And so you become so focused on what everybody else is thinking about what's happening to you. And then here's the other crazy statistic. By the age of 14, perfectionism shoots through the roof. How many of you believe you just got to get it perfect? You do that because you think if you get it right, you won't get hurt. You won't look stupid. You won't fail. And by the time 16 rolls around, 85% of girls say the drive to be perfect is paralyzing. And so every one of you, I struggled with this too. We think if we're perfect, no one's going to judge us, we're going to have the right friends, everything's going to work out, blah, 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 blah. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. You just have to try. You have to risk failing. You have to look looking stupid. Look, nobody knows what the hell they're doing. And everybody's all up here. They're not even thinking about you. So if I had to give you any advice, it is use this 5-second rule, everybody. We put out a video on YouTube every single day. Go subscribe. There's like 1.3 million, whatever. Thank you. Exactly. Seriously, subscribe. All this stuff is for free on YouTube. I want you to become somebody who doesn't think about what you want to do. Because thinking about what you want will not change your life. When you push yourself to try, when you push yourself to take action, when you push yourself to do it anyway, even though you feel anxious, even though you're nervous, even though you're afraid, even though you feel like an imposter, even though you're worried, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push yourself to try. You'll be shocked by what happens, because what's going to happen is you will change from the inside out. There's my advice. Oh, we got to give you your phone back.
What's the name of the channel?
Mel Robbins. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Do we have time? I feel like the, okay, yes.
I'll make it quick because I know.
Oh, that's okay.
So I'm a senior graduating in a month, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the area that I chose to study is something that I'm actually passionate about.
Okay.
It's more out of what you were saying about like obligation towards like supporting my family, supporting myself, and like having enough to even give back to my community, because that's what I really am passionate about. I just don't feel like I have the liberty to really engage in what I'm passionate about as a job. So I'm hoping that whatever I do.
Can I ask you a question?
will save me. Yes.
Can you pay your own bills?
Fully right now, no.
Okay. And so our parents,
Support, yes.
okay, so this is the issue. When your parents are paying the bill, your parents have a vote.
That is why I'm where I am now, because I don't
Yeah.
hear them out.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, if your parents are paying your bills, your parents at least are going to believe they have a vote.
Even if they're not, they still.
Yep, but here's the thing. When you're an adult, you get to choose. But you will be able to choose more easily if you're also paying the bills.
Yeah, the main thing is like my parents tell me like do whatever you want, but for me it's just like I've seen the sacrifices that my parents have made.
Hold on a second. Your parents did that for themselves. We sacrifice for our kids because we want to. You need to now go and live your dreams, because that's why they sacrificed. Do not disrespect what they did by going and doing something that you hate. You respect your parents and the sacrifices and the support they gave you by finding the courage to go do what you love. Got it? I know it scares the hell out of you.
It does.
So what are you going to tell me you're going to do?
I'm gonna try and do the best I can rule and just try to do what I'm passionate about.
Great. And so here's another thing I want you to do. I want you to call your parents, and I want you to tell them thank you for supporting me. And I've heard you loud and clear. I have heard that you want me to follow my dreams. And it scares me, but I'm going to go do it. And I want to thank you for that gift. And that's going to free you up of the guilt. You can always go back to that boring job you hate. It's the best job market in 40 years, people. Okay? One other thing I want to tell y'all when you got it?
I got it.
Okay, good. One other thing I want to tell you, when you go out into the world and you do your interviews, okay, and you get that job, when you accept the job, please ask for this. Please ask them to assign you to a sponsor or a mentor who is a couple rungs above your boss, and even in a different area of the company. And the reason why you want that as part of your job negotiation is because you want more visibility inside that organization. And you want somebody that's been assigned to be your mentor that will agree to meet with you once a quarter for the first year and just give you advice and talk to you about the company. And they will give that to you when you're in that negotiation because they want you to accept. And so for you to say, yeah, there's one thing that I would love to make part of this. I'd like you to assign me a mentor that is a couple, that's more senior than my boss. Obviously, it's got to be a larger company. So that I have somebody I can meet with once a quarter to get advice from, and here's why. When guys graduate from college, the ones with mentors make a lot more money than the ones that don't within a year of the job. Women with mentors also make more money than women who don't, but here's the thing, only 7% more. And the reason why is we tend to choose our bosses as our mentors. And that means that for advancement, you're in direct conflict with your boss's interests because they want to keep you on your team if you're good. And so guys have a tendency to be able to find mentors that are a couple rungs higher in different departments, which gives them more visibility, which translates to more money, more opportunity, all kinds of things. So please, when you get your jobs, now or out of college, ask for a mentor to be assigned. Really important. Someone other than your boss. All right. I think, are we?
Thank you, Mel.
You're welcome. Thank you. Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, by God, please subscribe because I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. We've got so much amazing stuff coming. Thank you so much for sending this stuff to your friends and your family. I love you. We create these videos for you, so make sure you subscribe. Mwah.